I dumped my BF because his acne smells like fish. What? There's no way for me to say this without sounding like an utter a-hole. At first, I thought I was imagining things when I'd smell fish. Not like salmon, I'm talking like literal rotten fish smell. I did some research and realized that it's his acne. I feel terrible, but the smell makes me sick to my stomach. We tried antibiotics, skin treatments, dermatologists, etc., etc., etc. But the smell permeates and I am physically nauseated. Sometimes the zits form around his mouth and burst in my mouth I can't even, while we kiss? Okay. The pustulates leak at night into pillowcases, and now the bed smells fishy as well. Sometimes I even wash the cases and they still have residual smell. Last night, he called asking me what he did wrong, and I told him the truth. I can't bear to lie about it, but either way, it makes me seem like such a piece of shit, which I guess I am. Oh yeah, this is a tough one. I really kind of resent that you added the zits in popping in mouth kiss. Ew, ew, ew. It is a terrible day to know how to read. I wish I was Jared, 19. At different points in our lives, I think we've all wished we were Jared and never learned how to read. He definitely needs a second opinion. 18 months of treatment with no improvement in a severe skin condition? He needs help, and his doctor is missing something important. Acne shouldn't smell like that. It shouldn't burst into his girlfriend's mouth. Okay, can we just stop talking about that one for now? There's something deeper going on, and he needs a better dermatologist. Edit, you are not a POS. Most people could not tolerate that long term. Ever. Wow. Congrats, you just grossed out a nurse. Now that is impressive. Well, I guess I have a story to share with my roommate when she gets home. It's 7 a.m. here, and I'm having my morning coffee, and its taste changed suddenly. On a good note, I won't see anything worse today. Oh, come on, you've just set yourself up to see the worst thing possible. Poor guy, that sounds miserable, and I don't blame you one bit. That's so appalling, I'm kinda at a loss for words. I wish I didn't read that. I didn't know acne can have an actual scent, but you're a real one for still kissing him when the zits would, Again, can we please just move past that? I don't want to think about it anymore. I feel pressured into wearing a fake mustache to work. Several weeks ago, I glued on a fake mustache as part of a Halloween costume. My roommate tricked me into using this super heavy-duty glue. The next day, I wasn't able to get it off. I was majorly pissed, but there wasn't anything I could do. I had a job interview and had to show up with this fake mustache. I had rehearsed a stupid line of how I like to make people laugh, and this is how I like to test how healthy an office culture was. Well, the interviewer, my new boss, didn't realize it was fake. In fact, he had a mustache in the same style as my fake one. The interview went well, and he ended it with some comment of how great my mustache looked. Was probably stupid, but I decided to wear the fake mustache to my first day of work today as to not disappoint the new boss. He made another comment today of how much he liked my mustache. Now I feel like I have to keep wearing this thing. This is an incredible setup for a comedy bit. I'm just waiting to see how you stick the landing. Hopefully they do stick the landing and, not get fired. I mean, I don't know why they would get fired unless the boss is like a weird egomaniac. He's like, you're making fun of me, blah, 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 blah. Silly. Just say you shaved it off if he asks. That is the simplest answer. I mean, facial hair isn't permanent, Why stop at a mustache? What other fake hair and features can you add? Double down, OP. I guess the real question we have to ask now is, will they wear wigs? And then will they wear wigs? No way this wasn't taken straight out of a sitcom, LOL. Grow a real one under the fake one. Then later on, glue the fake mustache with some weaker glue on top of the real one and have it fall off in front of your boss. God, that's such a stupid way to reveal it, but I kinda love it. LMAO! I bet this dude knows it's fake and is messing with you. That's probably a more likely option. The dude's just like, this guy's weird wearing a fake mustache. Oh yeah, looks really good. Rip it off in front of him. Maintaining eye contact. Really, it's a power move, so there is the potential to get a raise. Remove it end of the month and say you were doing Movember. That's a plausible enough excuse. I'm considering divorcing my wife because she can't get over her mom dying. Yeah, I know everyone is fired up at the title and ready to tell me what an a-hole I am. To those people, I implore you to read the rest of this post before making a judgment. My 36 male, wife's 33 female mother passed away 5 years ago from lung cancer. It was not a peaceful or easy death. Our lives understandably went on pause after the diagnosis, and we both spent a lot of time off work helping care for her mother. My wife had a pretty typical showing of grief at the time, cycling through different stages. Same with our 3 kids. After she passed, however, my wife got really bad. I totally understand this. I can't say I know exactly what she went through because I haven't had a parent die, but I understand how devastated she was. For months after, she could barely function. I gently took over pretty much all the responsibilities in the household and with the kids. She had been attending grief counseling since the diagnosis and continued after the death. None of this is the problem. I endeavored to be as supportive as possible. She cried on my shoulder every night for months, and I just thought this was the worse of for better or worse. The problem is that after 5 years, she does not seem any better or more functional. She stopped grief counseling about 4 years ago and refused to go again, stating it would not help her and that nothing could. About a month before any major holiday, she will have a major downturn. In bed half the day, crying all day, does not want to interact with the family, does not have the energy to do anything around the house. This will go on every single day until about a week after the holiday ends. Every holiday is intense grief, just as much now as it was 5 years ago. October, November, December, and January, her mom's birthday month, every year are particularly bad. I'm essentially without my wife and am a single parent to my 3 kids. Altogether, she is completely incapacitated by grief for about 6 months out of the year, and has been the past 5 years. When I say incapacitated, I mean incapacitated. When she is in the depths of her grief, she is completely incapable of intimacy with me or the kids. There is no cuddling, spending time with us, going on family outings. I don't have sex for half the year. I've stopped asking her if she wants to talk about it because she can't get any words out between sobs if she tries. What hurts the most is that the kids have stopped asking or being concerned. If they see their mom in bed when they get home, they just go about their day and might casually mention, "Oh, mom is sad today," if their siblings or I ask where she is. They don't really seek affection with her anymore because they rarely get anything more than tears. I've discussed this with therapists, my parents, friends, etc., and I know all the rebuttals people have for this, so let me preempt them. She is unwilling to go back to therapy for grief counseling or to see a doctor for depression. Yes, I know she's severely depressed. I can't force her to go to the doctor. I've tried so much. Yes, it really is just as intense as it was 5 years ago. No, I never tell her to get over it or blow her off. On my worst days, I just give space and leave her be. Most days, I try to offer her some comfort. If you want to judge me for leaving her alone, whatever, but know that I feel like I essentially have caretaker fatigue at this point. No, she does not have a history of depression, but she does have ADHD. Don't know if that's relevant. I feel like my wife died when her mom died. I would do anything to get her back, even a small piece of her, but she doesn't seem willing or able to move on past her mom's death. I feel awful for considering a divorce, but I don't know what else to do. Jesus, yeah, this is a rough situation. I mean, the biggest problem here is that she's not even present for her kids anymore, so that's like the real detriment going on. You not having grow up, who cares? But the kids need their mom. I'd make an ultimatum about getting help for sure. Her kids have also lost their mother. Yeah, see, this guy gets it. You should tell her that things are coming to an end, if she's not willing to at least try. My mom died when I was 13. I'll be 21 next March. She needs to move on. I know it sucks, but it's time she lets her mother go. She's not even trying to get better, and it seems the whole family is tiptoeing around her. If she's not willing to help herself, divorce is completely understandable. I won't put the kids or myself through this anymore. You have chosen grief and solitude over being a mother and partner, and after half a decade worth of ruined holidays, ruined relationships, and misery, I'm saying stop. No one can force you to work through this, but I won't be forced to live like this. Walk away. Dude, can I, hire you to write all my stuff? That is amazingly succinct. I mean, it's okay. I don't know. I just keep feeling like it's really harsh still, but I can't really tell if you should be harsh or not. Funeral director here. This is a very complicated and prolonged grief. She does need medical help at this point. I'd take the suggestion of calling EMS during her next breakdown. Her grief is making her a non-functioning person. Unfortunately, untimely demises are a part of life. It's a shame it happened to her mom, but she needs someone to help guide her out of the dark and find a way to not just cope, but become fully functioning again. Best of luck to you, OP. I hope your family can find its peace again. Found out ultrasound was fake. I was led to believe my ex had a miscarriage at 5 months pregnant while we were dating. Now, after 4 years since it happened and 2 years since we were in a relationship, I found concrete proof that the ultrasound was fake after reverse image searching on Google Images. I'm fine with cutting ties since we still talked, but now I'm just wondering why. Back when finding out of the pregnancy, she said she forgot to get her monthly birth control shot. That's how she got pregnant, and she took accountability for it at the time, and so did I. Because I liked her so much and our chemistry, I didn't dread the occurrence. Even though I didn't know how to feel about it, I suggested abortion since she already has 3 children and I didn't think she wanted another so soon. She would have been my first child. But I told a few family members we were having a daughter and all. She then said at 5 months her water broke and she had a miscarriage when she was out of town. I was working and felt sympathy even though I didn't want to bring a child into the world from a mistake. We were in a relationship until summer of 2021. Now, why would she make a fake ultrasound and either faked a pregnancy or covered up an abortion as a miscarriage? Even back then, I had my own everything. She had just got her a vehicle after being carless, a better paying job, and child support from her ex for the 3 kids. She was working on getting her own place from living with her sister and did that 2 months later. Not being arrogant at all, but she did everything to get me to choose her, and I reciprocated how well she treated me. Then we had a full-blown relationship. Any theories? I'm gonna be honest, I kinda got lost there at the end. I don't really know what the question is anymore. She might have felt insecure in her relationship with you and wanted something to tie you to her. I must say, she's a very insecure person, unfortunately, and bro died mid-sentence. She probably saw him typing this and cut him off. At 5 months pregnant, the fetus would have been a stillbirth, not miscarriage. It's 2 very different things. That in itself should have set off red flags. Attention, this is the answer right here. I mean, it makes sense, but I feel like that's just such a big commitment to lie about. But I mean, I guess people do lie about things all the time, so I don't know. EmKay. Could ask her for closure, but I wouldn't trust the kind of person who would do that in the first place, to be honest about their motivations. Was she a very dishonest/manipulative person in general? Seems like she would have had to have been. People rarely do things that serious in isolation. You say, cover up for an abortion, but ultrasounds aren't for miscarriages, they're for pregnancy. So EmKay, why you would think her faking an ultrasound would have been her covering up the fact she had an abortion rather than a miscarriage? That's not adding up. The only reason I can think that she would have faked an ultrasound would be if she was faking the pregnancy altogether. I mean, at 5 months, wouldn't you kind of be able to see a bump on the tummy? I'm not educated, so don't come for me, but I feel like there would be signs that you'd know if she was or if she wasn't. 4 years after you did a reverse image search? And I highly doubt that would pull up an exact match. They're so similar, it probably pulls up thousands of results. It led me to fakeababy.com, where the exact image was used in one of their packages for $14.99, LOL. I had to look through the options and found the exact image. She just added her own info on it. There's something so comical about just fakeababy.com that it's that's like something you see in a movie. I don't know, I'm baffled. I hate being a poor girl seeing a richer guy. I know money doesn't define people, and I should be repulsed if he were to ever judge me for my income or for my family's income. We're both college students. I don't think he expects me to be making a lot of money. But his family is rich, and he just grew up completely different than me. He drives a luxury car that costs almost 4 times as much as my car did. His father owns businesses, and my dad is a refugee who works in a gas station. I'll always be very proud of my dad and his story, but I know families within our culture are likely to judge us. I don't think he's shallow. He loves me for me, but I'd be lying if I say I'll ever let him in my house or in my car anytime soon. We are 4 people living in a 600 square foot ranch house. He lives in a borderline mansion. I feel stupid for even having this on my mind, but gosh, it's just hard for me to fully believe that him and I make sense. I'm about to graduate with a degree in psych, and I want to go to graduate school. I don't see a lot of money in my near future. I'm already struggling to pay off everything on my own, and I don't want him to know. I hope that this is all truly in my head. My gut instinct is to say that, yeah, this is mostly in your head. I mean, if you already don't think that he's shallow and he loves you for you, then you shouldn't be ashamed of your finances or your family's. Like, that doesn't matter. All that matters is that you like each other. Sorry, I was getting a little mad there. Feeling resentment towards your partner isn't ideal. Yeah, that generally spells disaster, so avoid it if you can. We, men, usually don't give a single F of how much a woman makes as long as she's not a leech. So relax. TBH, I understand you completely, but I feel like the dynamic is much different when a man is the rich one and the woman is poorer. Simply because when a man is rich, he doesn't usually see a poor woman as less than or unattractive. But for some, women are more likely to feel some type of way if they make more than their husband, etc., if that makes sense. It's because often it's a power dynamic. Some pretty valid points being thrown around, I can agree. LOL, women judge men all the time for being poor, even when it's no fault of their own. Yeah, it doesn't normally happen the other way. I do see what you mean because there are definitely a good few women who are pretty judgy when it comes to finances, but for some reason I can't not read your message as more of a, oh, double standards, women get like blah blah blah. Shut up. When I was in my late 20s, I dated a very wealthy, self-made man in his early 30s. It ruined our relationship. It didn't bother him, it bothered me. I felt we could never be equals. I'm not the kind of woman that expects and wants the man to pay for everything, but we were in such different financial brackets, it affected everything. For me, it just didn't work. You have a family, you go to college, you have a car, your family has a house, you will have a degree. Where are you a poor girl? I mean, just because you have things doesn't necessarily mean you're not poor. I mean, you can have things and still be very, very poor. I mean, let's just look at the school aspect. Like, sure, they paid for their college, but with loans that they're going to be paying off for the next 30 years, so effectively their money isn't theirs. Wow, this thread makes me so happy/relieved to be a lesbian. I don't know what you're so happy about. This could still happen to you too. Just depends on your insecurity levels. Uber Eats addiction is ruining my life. I'm genuinely at a loss. I feel utterly powerless. I'm a broke university student and I order Uber Eats every single day, sometimes twice. This has been the case for 4 years. I've spent thousands of pounds on food delivery. I've tried so many different things. Uninstalled the app, blocked the website, deactivated my account, moved all my money to cash. I keep the fridge stocked full of food. I told my loved ones about it and asked for help. Asked my housemate to try to keep me accountable. Nothing ever works. I'm powerless. I am obese and completely out of money. I start every day utterly determined not to order food, but always inevitably something happens and I just do it. I feel so ashamed and anxious about this, and people barely take me seriously when I tell them. I want to tell myself that tomorrow is the day. I will break this cycle, but in all likelihood, I'll just keep death eating until my card declines. And even then, I will probably just beg for money and repeat. What the f do I do? Oh, this one just kind of makes me sad. Like, I get the feeling, but at the same time, I don't know how to help you, actually. I have no idea. Maybe you need therapy. This is an eating disorder complicated by finances. You do need help. This will destroy you. I think you are probably right. As far as I'm aware, therapy is not something that is particularly accessible to me. It would either cost money I don't have or an extremely long wait on a waiting list. Either way, I will try my best to look into this. You have money to order food every day till your card declines, but don't have money for therapy? Okay, calm down, Matthew. We don't need to be playing the shame game here. They already feel bad enough. Why don't you ask the bank to put a stop on the card that you can't pay for it? And have you tried cooking meals yourself? Uber Eats can't even provide half the stuff I can cook. Maybe you should take a cooking class. Start keeping a spreadsheet. How much you spent, how much it actually cost if you bought it directly from the restaurant, how many calories in that meal. Tally it all up and take a good hard look at the numbers. That might be the wake-up call you need. Honestly, the first 2 steps are really all you need. How much you spent and how much it would actually cost if you bought it yourself, because DoorDash and Uber Eats, they are scamming you. I tell you this now, they are charging too much. I will will not be silenced. Start going to get your food instead of using Uber Eats. Eventually, you'll realize it's easier to make your food instead of going to get it. In the meantime, you will spend less on food. Call your bank and ask them to put Uber Eats on your blacklist. I didn't even know you could do that with a bank, but I mean, it makes sense. Have you tried learning how to cook nicer meals? I can understand the premise. You're hungry, and microwavable frozen food, random snacks in the pantry, etc. don't seem as appealing as a meal from a restaurant. But if you get good at cooking, a fresh meal hot off the stove / out of the oven is going to be a lot better than an Uber Eats meal that's been sitting out for 20 to 30 minutes before it gets to you. That's actually a really good point, because so often I've gotten food delivered and it's not cold because it sat on my porch for 2 seconds. It's like room temperature because it's just been ready for 40 minutes. Reddit mods silenced my viral post. Literally, part of the reason I don't use Reddit more is because of how much of a power trip Reddit mods get on within various subreddits. I love this platform, but I feel like users are treated like children and not given any autonomy a lot of the time within major subreddit communities. I had a post going heavily viral and they turned it off because they got to decide what I consider mildly infuriating versus very infuriating. This is only one instance, but I have read of people being banned for accidentally breaching a rule or even having posts removed because A, B, or C. When the issues are easily correctable, it feels like they go to extremes a lot of the time instead of even trying to contact the user. I want to be treated like an adult and allowed the respect to fix concerns instead of instantly having posts removed or silenced. I'm even nervous sharing my feelings right now, and may delete. If they do, they'll just be making a martyr out of you, and I hope they're smart enough to know that. Reddit mods are the ultimate personification of the idea that when people get a little power, they go crazy, lol. Mods is gods! Mods is gods! Well, I bow my head to no god. Especially not the mods. I got banned from one of the popular subs for congratulating someone for not resorting to violence. This is the same sub where the mods will make up BS reasons for removing posts that do not actually violate the rule cited in the removal notification. I get that. I had a post that was starting to gain traction and was told that my title wasn't descriptive enough and they took it down. As well as tell me that because it got more than 500 upvotes and was posted 30 minutes past an hour that I couldn't repost it with a new title that would make them happy. I get how frustrating it is. It just sucks. So Reddit mods really just make things up however they feel that day, huh? It begs a question, doesn't it? Who decides what's mildly infuriating, etc.? The same stuff happened with Pro Revenge. How much OCD do we need in posting things to a subreddit? Do people get out of Gone Mild because they are too wild and vice versa? I got suspended for commenting on a sub of a delivery service that's both popular and controversial. Tried showing how the company pins customers against their delivery staff while the company profits off them all. The mod was a jerk to me, made fun of me even throughout the post, and then removed my stuff and suspended me legit a day later. Told me that I couldn't speak about finances on any day except for Sundays. No joke. Okay, yeah, so they're just making up whatever rules they want. Like, what? How enforceable? What are we talking about? I saw your post on Mildly Infuriating. I can see why they disabled the post. Mold, no smoke detectors, a literal tree growing inside the house. None of these things are mildly infuriating considering you paid money to rent an Airbnb and got catfished. By the way, your art is really cool. I mean, I guess that would be extremely infuriating if you're paying that much money to go to an Airbnb and there's mold, no smoke detector, and a tree. So I guess it's not mildly, it's extremely. I did everything right, and I'm miserable. I know this is just the song of my generation. I was born in 1997, but I'm so tired. I did everything I was supposed to. I was an honor student in high school. I took my general ed college classes in high school because I was a part of a program that would give me dual credit. I went to a state college within driving distance so I could live with my folks and save money. I had 2 studio internships during college. I had part-time jobs. When I graduated, my thesis film was awarded Best in my major and in show for the whole arts department. This was in 2019. I tried to get studio work fresh out of college, but I just got a few freelance jobs. Fine, I'll keep trying. Then 2020 happened. Studios closed and reopened remotely, and when they did, nobody wanted to hire fresh faces, even if they were cheaper. Halfway through 2020, things started opening up again, and I took what I can get. a minimum wage job at GameStop. I continued my freelance on the side, but it wasn't consistent enough on its own. That's fine, everyone is struggling right now. It's just a bad time for animation jobs. In 2021, I moved out and started working at a grocery store because it paid better. I was doing well at the job. My managers loved me. I would get regular, albeit small, raises. In 2022, I got a repetitive stress injury to both my arms from overworking. I could no longer do my freelance work. I took 2 weeks off with workers' comp, but that wasn't enough to pay my bills, so I went back. I stopped doing animation almost entirely because of the injury. This year, a couple days before my 26th birthday, I decided to try for a corporate job within the same company. My good reputation paid off and my managers gave me glowing recommendations, and I'm now on temporary assignment in the corporate office, for the same pay as the store. That's fine. The point of this was to give my body rest so I could get back to my passion. $2,000 a month isn't great, but I'm surviving. I don't have to skip meals that often. I can afford to indulge in my hobbies a little, with some amount of guilt. I'm okay, but I'm so tired. Too tired to do anything I care about. Is this as good as it gets? I never had fun when I was younger because I wanted to have a future. I never got in trouble, never snuck out, never drank, never went to parties, skipped school events in favor of study. I never even dated. I did everything I was supposed to because I was promised a future where I could do what I loved for a living and be happy. But where is it? I just took a week off work and I go back tomorrow, and I hardly got anything done. I didn't work on my portfolio, I didn't apply to animation jobs, I tried working on my webcomic, but only like a half page of script because I'm just so tired. I'm tired and sad, and I'm sick of everything, and I'm tired of saying that's fine because it's supposed to get better. When? God, this one just kind of hurts me because I fully understand what they're talking about. I mean, we were promised good futures if we worked hard and really did everything, and look what we've been given. I mean, just look outside. I don't know. All I can really say is just hang in there. I mean, you're 26, maybe a little bit older, but you have so much time. It's fine. Just try and keep going. Am I not the only one who's spent their mediocre paycheck before I even get it by paying off bills? Nope, right there with you, pal. Every time I get a paycheck, I don't have that money. I'm also an artist, but I unfortunately had to give up my dream to be a full-time creative. I can't handle the workload and stress. I majored in something else because I am also decently good at it. If you can find a job at a factory or a warehouse, if you can handle the long hours, they pay very well, I heard. The market for human artists seemed to be dwindling now that AI's come about, and the path for aspiring artists only seems to be limited to people with a good foothold in the community. As a fellow artist, my heart hurts for you. Please don't let this kill your passion. I totally understand what you mean. This life is hard. No longer enjoying the things that brought me joy, and it's sad to hear that most other people are feeling the same. I truly hope it gets better for you. I did everything right. This was your first and probably only mistake. I did everything I wanted, in spite of good advice from experienced people who knew what was best for me. I completely ignored those people and did everything wrong, and now I'm happy and fulfilled. I still have to work on having a healthier lifestyle, but every year for me is practically better than the previous one. Doing what's right instead of what you want is the cause of a lot of personal issues today. You only have one life to live. There's no God, no afterlife, no second chances. Your entire existence should be governed by one rule and one rule only. Do what thou wilt. That shall be the only commandment. Everything and everyone else is just noise you can ignore. This is pretty good advice. I mean, there is no right way of doing things. Nobody has a rule book on how to be a person. You just have to find your own meaning and do what you want to make yourself happy. Obviously, this world has a lot of restrictions, meaning people to tell you you can't, but you just have to ignore them and do what you can when you can. Feel this in my bones, OP. I'm doing a job I love, for which I'm thankful, but I was like you, extremely responsible and hardworking and dedicated. And where did it get me? Well, I'm renting a place that is in an extremely inconvenient, middle-of-nowhere location because that's the only rent I could afford. I have 3 autoimmune diseases that run in my family and medical debt despite working hard and not spending much money on anything fun besides books and the occasional week off to rest. Like you said, I'm exhausted, and no matter how much I work, it feels like it'll never be enough to amount to that great future I was promised. Like, look, all I want is to not have to live paycheck to paycheck because of illnesses I could do nothing to prevent and own a house. I mean, it's not like I'm reaching for the stars here. I don't have the capacity to work any more than I already do because of my illnesses. I work 40 to 50 hours per week. It's just like you said. Is this it? Do we just get by until we die? Under a capitalist system, yeah, that's kind of all we're relegated to. This is the life we're getting to live. Unless, you're born into a rich family, and you've heard smarter people than I explain this concept, so I'm not gonna get into it. Being a short man feels embarrassing. I'm 19, and I don't like being short. I don't like the jokes and insults. It's a little bit depressing. I rarely ever see anyone my height unless they are actually kids. I hate having to look up at people. People like to insult and joke about it often. You honestly just feel inferior after so long of being treated like a lesser person. My family has done all of this the most. I have been told that my height was a problem a lot when asking someone out, and it just kinda hurts to know that being short is such a bad thing. Edit. I am an average-looking guy and I'm dating now, but my height has come up as a problem a lot before. I mean, the best thing I can say, which obviously easier said than done, I get it, just don't listen to those people. In the grand scheme of things, height really isn't that important, so just try and keep your head up, King. Ignore it. Tom Cruise, Dustin Hoffman, Al Pacino, Danny DeVito, Joseph Stalin, Beethoven, Picasso, Nietzsche, Dali, Peter Dinklage, Napoleon, we're all under 5'6". The world's tallest model is over 7 foot. Her husband is under 6 feet. I'm 5'9". My husband is just under 5'6". Don't beat yourself up too bad. The universe has a plan for you. I have a shorter cousin and we've always been close. More like siblings, but I've made short jokes here and there and this makes me feel so bad. I'll never do it again. I'm sorry you're going through this. Well, that's kinda nice. We've reformed at least one Redditor today. It sucks to dislike something about yourself, for sure. But with all the ladies in here telling you it's not an issue, your future's looking up. No, they said they don't like looking up at people. Come on, man, be sensitive. I'm a short woman, so I prefer short guys. Not sure if that helps, but wanted to share my perception. Yeah, what she said. I'm 4'6". Short guys are necessary for me, or it's odd. 4'6". Oh my god. I don't want to make fun of the height here. I'm not trying to, but I'm just imagining like a 5'10" guy standing next to them at 4'6". That's, oh my lord. My best friend is getting married today, and I truly think they are making a mistake. Just as the title says, my best friend is getting married today. I've tried my best to be supportive and gentle in my language, if I must be honest. But I'm bursting with frustration. I know this is going to sound petty, and honestly, I'm likely a bad friend for judging, but please hear me out. My friend is 23, marrying a man of the same age that they have been dating for about 8 months. At 5 months, they told me they were engaged, and that they were going to the courthouse on Halloween to get married. The only people invited are both of their mothers. A proper wedding ceremony will be held in the spring where everyone will be invited. I've already been told I'm one of the groomsmen/maids of honor. I'm the best man of the bride, if there's a better name for that. Why do I have a problem with this? Besides the very short time they've been dating, my best friend is very quick to fall in love and very quick to fall hard. Every person they have dated in the past 5 years has had the same thing said about them. The best person they've ever dated, and I've never loved someone so much. I genuinely don't mind it normally, as they have lots of love to give, and how much they see love is one of their charms. But it has led to them getting hurt very often, especially by terrible men who take advantage of their feelings, usually financially. I've talked about my concerns about them rushing this, but they brushed them off and gave me the same, "I've never loved anyone like this before." So I've bit my tongue since and try to support them. I even went shopping with them to pick out the wedding outfit like a best friend should. I know I sound like a bad friend, and I genuinely feel bad for being so apprehensive. You've already talked about your concerns, and that's where it should stop. You are a spectator, henceforth to this wedding. Watch quietly. Your friend needs to make her own choices and learn from them. They've dated for 8 months and he has had more than one job during that time? He's had 3 that I'm aware of. Oh yeah, 3 different jobs in the span of 8 months? That's, not the most confidence-inducing. I watched my best friend get pregnant, planned, and marry an absolute horror show of a guy. At the wedding, me and the other best whoa man laid bets on how long they would last. It took her 10 years and 2 kids to finally break free. Sometimes you just have to watch them make their mistakes and be there for them to vent to and to help pick up the pieces when they've finally seen the light. And at least 50% of her kids were absolutely worth the 10 years. And now she just got engaged to a really good guy, so one dumb choice doesn't have to mean she'll derail her whole life. It just means she may take a little longer and some detours to arrive where she wants. Interesting way to throw shade at just one of the kids, 50% of her kids out of 2, so... Never, ever involve yourself in someone else's relationship. At best, they shoot the messenger. At worst, they blow your life up. Not your pasture, not your bullshit. Oh, I love phrases like that. Another favorite is not my circus, not my monkeys. And it really does apply to a lot of situations people accidentally care about. Everyone else gave the good advice, so I'm just here to say that the term you're looking for is man of honor. Oh, okay, thank you actually. I was hoping for an answer. Well, I guess I'm glad everybody got to get this off their chest. But I need to go chill out for a little bit. Thank you all once again for watching. My name's Brandon, and I will speak things at you another day. Bye!